The Human Loop podcast, powered by Ethereum. I've just sat down with Ollie from La Fosse on the Human Loop podcast. In this episode, I delved into his decision sprint in a lot more detail. Ollie scored a 57%, which topped the leaderboard at the time of us recording this. So it was really interesting to unpick what he did well and what he didn't do so well. So join us as we jump straight in. Right, everyone, the people card. This is a scenario. Someone senior who you personally hired, someone you publicly vouched for, is failing in their role. The evidence is undeniable. They're asking for time and patience. Half your senior team think they should already be out. That's tough. The other half is watching to see how you handle this. You've got a leadership offsite in 3 weeks, so that just makes it a bit more spicy.
First of all, I'd be taking some slow time to myself. I'd be probably soundboarding my decision thought process with a sponsor of some kind, my exec coach or my chairman, even though I'd be pretty decisive as a CEO in terms of...
Right, so straight away, you can see Ollie thinking about, where do I go to as a leader to make such an important people decision? Like, who are my trusted advisors? He's clearly not going to make this decision in isolation. So I really love that he is, seeking that other perspective to check and challenge his thought process. But then he's super clear that once he makes his decision as a CEO, it's going to be his decision.
Knowing what I would do, and I would probably write down my plan, my 4-week sprint plan on this. First and foremost, taking that first sentence about, someone senior.
Write down his 4-week sprint plan and decision process on that. Like, I love the idea of committing to paper, what you're going to do. Why is that so beneficial as a leader? Well, everything you commit to paper gets done. So ultimately, if we're committing something to paper, we're going to be able to measure ourselves against it. Whether we're committing it to paper or committing it electronically, like I'm easy with, but I think that's a really, really, really useful approach that we can definitely learn from.
I personally hired and publicly vouched for. I'm going to swear again. I wouldn't give a shit about that. I have humility on that piece. We've all made bad hires. We've all personally vouched for people who are excellent, who haven't turned out to be excellent. That's just life. And nobody cares about that, really.
Super interesting bit there as well. So actually what I notice Ollie doing here is emotionally distancing himself from that hiring decision. This is about performance. This is about business success. So ultimately, he's taking a very objective approach to this decision-making process, which I think speaks to a lot of how Ollie operates as a CEO and as a leader as well.
The evidence is undeniable. It's really interesting. So yeah, I would have liked to have think that if there is mounting evidence that the person is unsuccessful, then that is enough evidence that I would need to be making a call to my piece earlier on, which is if you're going to eat crap, don't nibble it. But they're asking for time and patience. This bit kind of really plays on me a bit. Every individual needs time and patience. As humans, that is what we need. Like, every experienced hire comes in and they don't deliver results as quick as the business expects them to. That is a life fact. Every business, having placed hundreds of people into my customers and having hired people, they're never as quick as a business wants, because the business is always ambitious. So every individual needs time and patience, but it's really quantifying what that time and patience is, how long and how patient.
So how long and how patient? And I think this is valid in today's world. Like, the world's moving super fast. As leaders, as operators in business environment, Ollie's got a really interesting perspective here because he runs a recruitment business. He's placed people in businesses as well as running his own business. So he's got this empathy that actually senior people in roles take time to get up to speed. And so everyone needs some time and everyone needs to be treated fairly. And this awareness and understanding that Ollie brought to the decision sprints, but also the clarity of how he's delivered his messaging, I think really underpinned why he scored such a strong score in the end.
Are they showing up to one-to-ones effectively? It says that there's, evidence is undeniable, so I'd be really questioning on that evidence. What we've set them at the start, have we onboarded them correctly? Have we set them up for success? Have they got clear probation plans? And then this bit around the senior team,
Okay, before we jump into the senior team, there's this perspective that we have as leaders that actually if someone isn't working out, it's on them. I love what Ollie's done here is bring it back and gone back to first principles, which is, have we onboarded them properly? Have we set expectations? Is there right feedback mechanisms? For me, like in the businesses that I get to support, often that is missed. The mirror up on us before we decide what we're going to do. So that was a really important bit for me. I'm going to jump us forward now to Ollie's score. Now, Ollie scored a 57%. Now, 57% at the point of us recording this episode is top of the leaderboard. So Ollie topped the leaderboard at 57%. And the two highest scores he had was his conviction in terms of, actually his answer was rich in conviction and just the quality of what he backed, but also his trade-off articulation. So he was really clear on understanding, look, if I do this, I'm going to do this. That's my conviction bit, but there are these outcomes. There are these side effects as well. And that 72% for conviction and 65% for articulation or trade-off articulation really helped him score really, really well. And ultimately, as a leader, those two things are important. You've got to back the decision you've made, but also no decision is perfect. No decision comes without its drawbacks as well. And so Ollie's 5 minutes of answering that question, those two things really shone through. If there's a work on for Ollie, it was on the density of his specifics about exactly what he would do in some of those key moments. So what would someone do in the offsite moment? How would he manage that, etc. But ultimately, super strong score. Well done, Ollie. So thanks again for Ollie Whiting from La Fosse coming on the Human Loop. It was interesting as we showed Ollie his score, 57%. I think he seemed a little bit upset that he didn't score higher. But actually, then when we shared with him that he scored the highest on the leaderboard so far, it just goes to show how hard it is to make a really high quality decision and to be able to share that in under 5 minutes. So make sure you tune into other episodes of The Human Loop where we are going into more detail with leaders on how they would face the decision sprint. Catch you next time.